Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you guys who are new, my name is Natalie and I run a stationery shop called DoodlesnTea. For today's video, as it is the last video of the month here on this channel, that means we're going to be talking about stuff that isn't related to our shop. And in a way, this is kind of to buffer it out for me so I don't burn out by just talking about shop-related content. So today we're going to be talking about K-pop. Last month I uploaded a video talking about how I study Korean, and along the way, if you guys follow me on Instagram, which you should, I also talk about K-pop related things here and there. So I decided it would be fun to do a Q&A and answer some of your questions. I know there are quite a few people that at least follow me on Instagram that are also K-pop fans, because at some point I did make K-pop light stick stickers, and those did surprisingly really well. So if you guys are interested in more content like this in the future, or just to stick around to see how my shop is doing, don't forget to give this video a like and to subscribe to this channel. And once that is done, let's get started. So I have all the questions written down and I have a few notes about how I wanted to answer each of them, so if I keep looking down, that's why. So the first question that I got was, what were the first groups that you got really into? Enough to buy merch, watch their shows, etc. So the first group that started it all was actually Big Bang. I feel like that's, for many second gen fans, the group that got them into K-pop. But very soon after, I got into SHINee. And I think SHINee was probably the first group that I followed, that I watched a show for. To give you a timeline of it, I think soon after I became fans of SHINee, their season of Hello Baby came out. And I think one of the things is that fans these days will not understand the struggle of trying to find English subs for shows. Like, you have to go to these really sketchy websites and wait like a whole month for one episode to be subbed. But I would say that SHINee was the first one that I actually watched a show for. And then a couple months later, I think I discovered Super Junior. And then I watched their show Exploring the Human Body, which I recommend to anyone who's trying to get into Super Junior. It's actually a very informative show. And, you know, the video quality might not be the best because I think that show was from like 2007 or something. But the quality of the show itself makes up for everything. I have watched that show multiple times. But Super Junior was the first group that I bought an album for. And I think it's the first album I ever bought for anyone, and I think I actually have it on my shelf. Let me go grab it. So this was the very first album that I ever got. It was their fourth album, and this was the one that just came out as I became a fan. And this was also the album that I learned to not try and crack open the pages, because I may have accidentally ripped out some of these pages, which still hurts me to this day. The second question that I got are, what are some of the most underrated K-pop songs? Again, you guys will probably see, and throughout this video, you will see how old of a fan I am, or like how long I've been around, just from the groups that I talk about or the songs that I'm gonna recommend. There are a lot, and I'm just gonna leave them on the screen for you guys to check out. I tried to pick from groups that aren't necessarily the most popular, or unfortunately groups that may have disbanded at this point, that if any new K-pop fans are coming into the scene might not have even heard of these groups. There are a lot, and I highly recommend you check them out. I think out of all of the most underrated groups, the ones that I was really into was probably C-Clown, which has now transferred into my love for DPR. Led Apple, which was a band back in the day, also amazing, had great shows. U-Kiss was actually one of my favorite groups for a very long time that unfortunately never really got the spotlight that they deserved. And Dalmatian. You know a group is underrated when their songs aren't even on Spotify. So yes, give these songs a listen, let me know what you think, and leave in the comments what song you think is an underrated K-pop song as well. The next question was, rank all your favorite girl groups plus Bias and Bias Wrecker. To be honest, I don't think there's ever really been a girl group that I was so invested in that I would get their albums or I would watch their shows. There were girl groups that I was very into, and I was like on it for all of their comebacks. But even to that extent, it never pushed me into really getting the album. But some of my favorites back then were A-Pink, After School, and 4 Minute. But for the most part, I think most of the second gen girl groups I would listen to, I have written down, SNSD, Kara, 21, Miss A, FX, Wonder Girls, all of those groups. As for groups that are promoting right now, I listen to Mamamoo, I listen to ITZY, Twice, I listen to aespa, and I listen to Dreamcatcher. I actually quite like Dreamcatcher's sound as well. I also realized I forgot to answer the bias and bias record part. For my bias in A-Pink, it is Inji. For After School, it was Lizzie, Juyeon, and Nana. And for 4 Minute, it was Jihyun. But yeah, overall for girl groups, it's like, I like the groups, but I'm always just a casual listener. Like, if they have a comeback, I'll listen to a title track, and that's about it. Next question was best concert you went to. This one was really difficult because I feel like all of the concerts that I went to were really good. And I know that's kind of a cop-out answer. Each concert held a very different emotion when I went to it. For example, when I went to the A-Pink concert, that one was really special because it was the first concert that I ever went to in general. Plus, I managed to win VIP high touch tickets. So I was actually able to meet them. I got to talk with them. I got a hug from Inji. I got to chat with Hayoung for quite a while. It was definitely a very interesting experience. And of course, as you guys can tell from how much I talk about NCT, the 127 concert also was an experience. I think a concert is good when you go in as a casual listener and you leave the concert as trash. So yeah, the 127 concert definitely was very much life-changing. The Super M concert was also very good. And that was also an experience because all of my favorites from separate groups were in Super M. Eric Nam concerts, always great. We love the TED Talks. Eric's concerts are always very relatable because I think the second one that I went to, he was talking about how his mom's always asking him when he's gonna get a real job, and I feel that when people look at me, it's like, you run a stationery shop for a job. The 17 concert was also really good. It was the first concert I went to after the pandemic. Honestly, all of them were amazing. DPR was great. Dean, AOMG, J Park. Yeah, a lot of the concerts were really good. I don't know which one I would say would be my favorite. I brought my husband to the 17 concert, and he's been to a few concerts from Western artists, but he also agrees K-pop concerts kind of take the concert experience to another level. So I would highly suggest and recommend if you guys have the chance to go attend one. Next question, fave NCT title track. This one I split by units because I felt like that was only fair. For NCT U, my favorite title track would be Boss/Baby Don't Stop. That was really the era that got me very much into NCT. For 127, my favorites were Limitless, Superhuman, Kick It, and Favorite. For Dream, it was We Go Up, Riding, and Hello Future. And for Wavy, it is Turn Back Time. Next question, bias record in NCT. So my bias in NCT is 10. The record would probably be Johnny. Jaemin, I would include Doyoung and Jaehyun as well. And I have like a subcategory of, the members that everyone needs to collectively protect. And that would be Mark, Renjun, Jisung, and Winwin. How long have you been into K-pop? So I actually have been listening to K-pop since late 2009. That year, my friends already started listening to Big Bang, as I mentioned earlier. There's a long story of how I got into K-pop that maybe I'll save for a different video. But let's just say that by the end of 2009, I decided to look up Big Bang again from an encounter I saw watching a TV show. And then the spiral kind of began, and soon after I discovered SHINee. And to give you more of a timeline, this was, I believe, right as Ring Ding Dong was going to come out, or Ring Ding Dong just came out. So I've been stuck in this black hole since then. The last question is favorite girl group, boy group, and soloist. So like I mentioned earlier, I don't even know who my favorite girl group is at this point. A lot of second gen groups unfortunately aren't around anymore, and I only have listened up to third gen. I know that there is a lot of new groups coming out, and I don't want anyone to take this the wrong way, but I've gotten to a point with, just life in general, where I can't dedicate that much time into trying to catch up with every single group that comes out like I did in high school. And trust me, in high school, when the second gen groups were all coming out, I was all about it. I think I listened to pretty much every group that came out. But 10 years into the future, it's not like that anymore. So there are a lot of groups that I've heard of, but I haven't actually listened to. And it's not their fault. So I hope that no one really comes after me going like, why haven't you talked about this group? Or why haven't you talked about this group? Anyways, going back to the question. Boy group, my favorite is still Super Junior. Ever since I watched Exploring of the Human Body to how it is now, Super Junior is my favorite. Which a lot of people find surprising considering the amount that I talk about NCT/Wavy content. But my response to that is always, if SM would upload more Suju content, I would be talking about them. But, unfortunately, they are not. And so that is why you see me talking a lot more about NCT or Wavy compared to Super Junior. But Super Junior are my ults. As for soloists, there are quite a few soloists that I also listen to. I will leave them on the screen again because I just decided to do a collective summary of it all. There were some that I wasn't sure if I should add as a soloist because technically I think DPR is considered K-pop, but a lot of their songs are also in English, but I thought I would mention them anyways. And also it hurts me to call them a soloist, but Wonho, BI, I've listened to them since they were still in Monsta X and Icon, but because they are, I guess, now technically promoting as soloists, I'm adding them under soloists. But yeah, that's it for all of the questions for this video. I hope you guys found this interesting. This was very fun to just sit down and chat with you guys about. If you guys want me to do a video like this again in the future, don't forget to leave more questions in the comments below. And with that, I hope you guys are taking care of yourself and staying safe out there. It is starting to get cold. We just stepped into November and it is snowing outside. I don't know if you could hear my little portable heater in the back going off throughout this entire video, but don't forget to bundle up and stay warm as the winter season comes. But yes, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!